From the blessed hot off of his win against Arnold Allen, to the insane fighting style that always gives him an edge in the ring, here's how Max Holloway will destroy the Korean Zombie. Yes, it's official. Max Holloway's finally gotten what he wanted. The former UFC featherweight champion's been booked against fellow veteran Chan Sung-young to headline the UFC's much-awaited return to Singapore. Mark your calendars, folks. The fight's about to go down on the 26th of August. UFC President Dana White announced the news, and fans couldn't be more excited. After all, this is what they've been dying for. Ever since the Blessed openly challenged the Korean Zombie, right after he defeated Arnold Allen by a unanimous decision in the UFC on ESPN 44. Max has his eyes dead set on the belt and told reporters Young's the only guy of his time he hasn't fought yet, saying that he would love to fight him, especially since he's one of the guys he grew up watching. In fact, the big guy even admitted he's tripping over how they didn't match up yet, calling Young one of the OGs, saying, "We came up in the same era and we didn't fight each other." Well, looks like his prayers are being answered. These two are going to share the octagon next month, and Holloway sees it as another important step on his road to glory. He's all pumped up to win back the UFC featherweight title. Sure, he might be 0-3 against the champion right now, and tasting a trio of defeats to Alexander Volkanovski made many second-guess his durability. Has the Blessed lost his special touch? Nope, not at all. After handing Almighty Allen his first defeat in the octagon, Holloway has regained his confidence. The best way to get out of rock bottom in the ring? Call out a fan favorite like Young and climb your way to the top again. That's exactly what Holloway has in mind. Now, if you look at the rankings, I know what you're thinking. The pairing doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, right? But Young's been sitting as one of the few long-tenured featherweights that the Blessed hasn't collided with. A clash of the OGs does sound super exciting, right? So where does Young stand on this? Well, looks like Holloway's succeeded in calling out the undead from his grave. Young took to Twitter all in for the fight, saying, "Thanks for setting my OG mind on fire. Let's go, brother." But if you know anything about these two, you'd know that Young's about to get wrecked in the ring. Remember how he got his ass handed to him at UFC 237 by champion Volkanovski? Yes, the two-time title challenger suffered a lopsided TKO loss. Not only that, he's in terrible condition right now. Many fans are calling the matchup a disgrace to the veteran that UFC was extremely irresponsible for pairing up the two, especially when he's just taken a ton of damage from Volkanovski, leading to a brutal fourth-round knockout. I'll be honest, the fight was pretty one-sided from the very get-go. It was painful to watch Young getting battered and tossed around like that. Volkanovski kept walking him into traps, and his jab was particularly a major problem for the South Korean. So what's he thinking going up against the second best? The man's suicidal. Like, come on, this is supposed to be his retirement fight. Young's far from his prime days, so UFC's really disrespecting the Zombie's legacy by sending him into the ring against Holloway to take the beating of his lifetime. And their excuse? Well, the Zombie asked for it, didn't he? If you ask me, this will turn into freak show. I'm talking Renato Sobral versus David Heath level bad. It's going to be a bloodbath, with Max getting a flawless victory. Still not convinced? Just look at Holloway's performance in his recent fights and why he's the safe bet in this match. He's a super skilled striker with a 22-6 record, and his punching variety is insane. Take his fight with Calvin Kattar, for instance, where he landed 445 strikes, setting the single fight record, and shattering his own record of 290 against Brian Ortega at UFC 231. He also set the single round record in the fight against Kattar for landing a total of 141 significant strikes in the fourth round, and is the only fighter in UFC history to complete 24 octagon appearances without suffering a knockdown. That says a lot about this man's durability in the ring. And this is hands down his most important defensive technique, especially since he's held his own against the likes of Dustin Poirier twice and the mad puncher Conor McGregor. If you look back at their big fight in 2013, you'd agree that it's amazing how, despite Conor's mad grappling skills and 80% accuracy of takedown attempts, I mean, that man was all over the place, but Max still managed to remain calm, build his distance, avoid a knockout. This combo of elbows from Conor would have been deathly to others, but Max showed an incredible ability to recover fast, and so far still displays a perfect chin, which will definitely make him way longer than Young. And as amazing as his defensive style is, Holloway's gotten even better in his offense. Sure, he isn't that known for trapping his opponents into a corner, but I'd say that's the beauty of his offensive distancing. He stays pretty light on his feet, circles the cage continuously, and isn't afraid of taking down his opponent right in the center of the cage. And if you watch some of his older fights, he's displayed a great mastery over his reach, leaning on his front leg while using his lead hand to measure distance, very skillfully distracting his opponents. He doesn't really use kicks to defend, but he's infamous for using long-range kicks, like spinning back kicks, to catch opponents that are moving away. Just look at UFC 206, his impressive win over Anthony Pettis, where he landed a perfectly timed body kick in the third round, knocking out his opponent with a clean finishing sequence. In all his fights, he's never missed his offensive kicks. Yep, Young doesn't stand a chance against that. Speaking of Young, people seem to be asking the South Korean to back out of the match like, why you've got a death wish, bro? But somehow, Young's confident he's got what it takes to win against Max. In his latest YouTube video, he shared that his fans have warned him that Holloway might kill him in the ring, but the Korean Zombie's totally chill, highlighting the difference in their styles, talking about how Holloway dives right into the fight, saying that he knows just how to take care of him. But Young even went on to say that Max has only fought out boxers, but he enjoys infighting, boldly announcing that no one in the top 5 is as good an infighter as him, betting that the Blessed could struggle against an infighter like him, who likes to apply constant pressure. Young claimed that Max has never fought someone of his caliber, saying he believes he hits harder than the #1 UFC featherweight, and that can be a crucial factor in this fight. In what universe? If you compare Holloway's striking record with Young, Max clearly has the upper hand when it comes to punching. It's crazy to think that Holloway's got such a wide variety of offensive techniques, like his oblique kicks, elbows, and knees. He's still out there smashing striking records with mostly his hands, which could be a little problematic if he overlies on his punching, because Mr. Young out here thinks his punching power exceeds him. But even if that's the case, Max still is a solid, dynamic fighter, with his ability to switch out his stances and strike placements, targeting the body more often than other fighters. I think this will be a great way for the Blessed to tire out Young, especially in the later rounds of the fight, relying on the body shots rather than just focusing on the face to save his energy, instead of going at it all day. And like I said, if it's a test of durability and who outlasts the other, place all your bets on the Blessed. Sure, he packs a lot of power in each punch, but it's not just about the power. It's about his accuracy and the fluidity of his strikes, which is unlike anything you've seen in the ring. And who am I kidding? The Korean Zombie's in his retirement days. It's been over a year since he last fought. Anyone remember his last victory? You'll have to look all the way back to June 2021 for his win against Dan Ige. Now, I'm not saying the guy's lazy or incompetent at all. He's got an impressive 17-6 striking record too, but you can't come back after a whole year of no fights and expect to take down the GOAT, especially when Holloway's just got a win over Allen and is all jacked up for the championship title. The UFC's sending Young to his death, and I think he's accepted his fate. So, from the insane fighting style that always gives him an edge in the ring, to the Blessed hot off of his win against Arnold Allen, that's all on how Max Holloway will destroy the Korean Zombie.